Hey buds, Socialism Done left here for Commie College, where I re-educate fellow leftists for saying dumb shit. Today's dumb take is that a study proved that boomers are more narcissistic than millennials. This study got a lot of play on Twitter and lefty Reddits, and a ton of online news outlets covered it, including Mashable, Cracked, Dazed, The Independent, Indie100, Meds Health, Yahoo News, and even a few local news channels like 6 ABC Action News. These are all just reposts of this Science Insider story by Julia Naftulin called Baby Boomers Are More Sensitive Than Millennials, according to the largest ever study on narcissism. If this were true, you'd expect the article to mention the evidence from the study or a quote from the author that backs it up. Instead, the article just states that they found that younger generations are less hypersensitive than older generations. This suggests that the millennial generation is less sensitive than the baby boomer generation. The key word there is suggests, because the paper didn't actually include any evidence on millennials. Here's the paper itself, Chopik and Grimm 2019, Longitudinal Changes and Historic Differences in Narcissism from Adolescence to Older Adulthood. The study defined three kinds of narcissism. First, leadership or autonomy narcissism, which usually has positive effects. Second, grandiose or willfulness narcissism, which usually has mixed effects. And third, defensive or hypersensitivity narcissism, which usually has negative effects. Here's figure 2. People born in 1923 are Greatest Generation, 1929, 1936, and 1938 are Silent, 1943 are Boomer, and 1969 are X. Millennials have to be born between around 1980 and around 1995, so they ain't in this study, and that wasn't the point of this study. Instead, the study authors found that hypersensitivity, which is bad, decreased, and autonomy, which is good, increased from the greatest to the Xer generations. The Science Insider people are correct that if this trend continued, then millennials would have better narcissism than boomers or Xers, but we don't know if that trend continued. Here's figure 1. We can see that hypersensitivity decreases with age, willfulness doesn't change, and autonomy increases. This suggests that bad narcissism decreases over time and good narcissism increases. This is a comforting finding because it suggests that people improve themselves over time. The Science Insider article triggered me for another reason. Its headline states that this study was the biggest study ever on narcissism. This is obviously false. If you just go to Google Scholar and type in narcissism meta-study, the first result is Twenge et al. 2008. Twenge 2008 had a combined sample size of 16,475. Chopik and Grimm 2019 only had a combined sample size of 747, which is 22 times smaller. Like, it's not even the same ballpark. Interestingly, Twenge 2008 found that narcissism increased over time among college students from 1982 to 2006, which includes millennials. However, their measure of narcissism doesn't distinguish between the kinds of narcissism that Chopik and Grimm 2019 did, so we can't know what kinds of narcissism are increasing and what might be decreasing. In summary, Scientific Insider is garbage and should feel bad for publishing this story, so should every outlet that republished them, and so should every person who read these articles or retweeted these articles without checking their sources first. I want to give big thanks to my patrons Chain and Kira for indulging my video creation habit. If you liked this video, then the largest scientific study on button clicking finds that you're gonna love hitting that subscribe button. And that's all for today, buds.